Hi everyone, this is going to be my review for Dragon's Dogma Episode 1. Before I even get really into the review, we should probably know that I'm going to get into spoilers. Every episode is going to be me spoiling certain aspects of the episode, so if you want to know if it's worth watching, Episode 1 intrigued me. It did have a lot of setup for the future, and it is honestly like a 7 out of 10. Could be better, could be worse. My only hope was that the story is better than the games, and it is. Just know that the first episode is essentially the first 5 minutes of the game stretched to like 30 minutes. So not a whole lot happens until the very end of the episode where everything just kicks off. But it's an interesting first episode. I don't know if I would necessarily, if I didn't play the game and if I wasn't a big fan of the games, I don't know if this episode would get me hooked, honestly. I can't really say I would watch this if I wasn't a fan of the game to begin with. I hope that if people are watching it, it does get more views. I want this to, start getting more views and start, getting people to watch it, because I want another fucking Dragon's Dogma game. So, the first episode is basically, just a whole fucking shit ton of setup. The main character's named Ethan. His wife is Olivia. And they have an adopted son named Lewis. The main character, Ethan, honestly seems just very generic fantasy main character right now. He's a loving guy. He has a bunch of setup for a sad backstory. He seems to have lost his mom and dad in some, I think it's implied to be a fishing accident. I don't really know. The bunch of background characters just talk about it. And his wife is essentially a plot device. She's not really a character in the show all that much. She barely gets any screen time. She's just there to drive the plot forward. You already know she's gonna die and motivate Ethan to go do the things he does in the story. In the original game, you just kind of wake up and your town gets burned down. You don't have a wife or anything. You just kind of alright, a dragon attacked my town. I'm gonna go kill that dragon. In the show, they give him actual reason to hate the shit out of the dragon. I will say I kind of wish they gave his wife more character. I wish she did more. I wish you got more screen time with her to make me actually feel like I cared when she died, because I didn't. She's just generic wife. She's a nice lady with a baby. I feel bad for saying it, but I didn't care when she got roasted by the dragon, just because he didn't give her enough time to actually for me to get a feel for the character. However, Lewis, I thought at first was a little bit annoying little shit, but he kind of grew on me throughout the episode. And honestly, because of the way that the trailers, because I saw him in the trailers, I expected him at one point. Okay, so when I saw him, I was like, oh, he has adopted son. Cool. I didn't realize in the trailer. I thought there was just some kid in the trailer that he finds later on that helps him out. But in the show, he's an adopted son who lost his parents, and Ethan and Olivier adopt him and take care of him, and he's just part of their family. Olivia even says that he's essentially gonna be the big brother for their baby. And he's a little bit of a shit talker. He was talking about shit about the guards. They do set up for future things for him, where it's oh yeah, he's got a lot to learn. And then you see him hunting with the main character, and he's yeah, I've gotten so much better with my bow skills. Isn't this great? And then they fucking bring him back to the soldiers, because they get attacked by wolves. And the main character tells him go back to the village, tell him the wolves are attacking. He goes back to the soldiers like a smart kid, and tells them, hey, my adopted father needs help. Can you help? And I thought he was gonna be stuck at the hold, or the soldiers' little castle thing, the outpost. And I thought he was gonna when the dragon attacks, he's probably going to see it far away, see what's going on, and then he'll probably get separated from the main character. He'll have to find him again later on. And that's what I thought was gonna happen. But after I saw him go to the village and be in front of Ethan's wife, I was just
wow, okay.
Because I started liking Lewis at that point, and then the dragon eats him. That fucked me up a little bit, because as soon as I saw Lewis be in the middle of the screen, and it was the main focus of the shot, I was fuck. Because I knew he was gonna die, and then I saw the dragon eat him, and I was just kind of well, I care more about Lewis dying than I do about the wife getting fucking roasted, if I'm being completely honest. Shit. Yeah, then the dragon kills Ethan's wife, which she's not really much of a character. Like I said, she's just a plot device. And Ethan gets chosen to be the Arisen, which, okay, so this is a little weird. In the game, the main character was chosen to be the Arisen because the Arisen stood up to the dragon by himself with his entire, like, town just, like, running away like little babies. And the dragon saw that you had, like, the bravery to stand up to a fucking dragon with a shitty sword, and he chose you from that. In the Netflix show, they have soldiers who were there getting ready to fight a dragon. They were woefully unprepared. They just got destroyed. They had no chance. But they tried. There was one guy that yelled at his soldiers for running away, and he still kept trying to fight the dragon. So in this one, I don't think he chooses Ethan because he's standing up to the dragon. Because, like, there's people that were doing that before him, and they were doing it by themselves. Something like the leader was like was ready to fight the dragon by himself if he had to. The leader of the soldiers, I mean. And that kind of didn't come across as the same thing as in the game, where the dragon chooses him because he's brave. In this one, he chose him because he hates the dragon for killing his wife and the adopted son. So the dragon specifically goes after Ethan because of his hate, and then he chooses him to be the Arisen. And at the end of the episode, when he wakes up from being in, having his heart ripped out, he meets his pawn, and I gotta say the animation for the pawn looks actually really good in this shot. But yeah, that was essentially what happened in the first episode. Like I said, it wasn't that much. There was small things here and there, but I didn't really get that much from the first episode, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, so they're just doing a bunch of setup. I will say one thing, the voice acting, especially when emotions are high, pretty good. Ethan's despair and anger when his wife gets killed, you can feel it in his voice. It was very nice. The sound, fine. The music, just fine. It doesn't really stick out to me like the original intro for Dragon's Dogma does, even though it's like really out of place, but I still love the original intro music. Now let's get to the animation, which is probably the biggest negative of the review. The animation is a hit or miss for me, because sometimes it goes from being like pretty good to being just dog shit. There's certain moments with the characters with their face when they just don't look right. So there's supposed to be a shot in the beginning of the episode with Ethan having in his dream where he's supposed to look scared. He just looks like he's trying not to laugh. Like, he literally just looks like he's trying not to laugh the entire time. And I was just kind of like, okay, that's weird. And Grigori, the dragon, he looks like Play-Doh. I don't know if Grigori is made to look like Play-Doh on purpose to make him look otherworldly, but it looks kind of like shit. He doesn't always look like shit. There's certain shots where he's like, oh, okay, this is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. And then there's other shots where I'm like, okay, he looks like gelatin and shit. And in the first shot when you see Grigori in the episode, which is in a dream, his frame rate for his body when he's like leaning back and like about to swipe looks really choppy. Like, it just looks really choppy and weird. But that's the only time I saw his frame rate acting like just flat out. The rest of the animation for the show, it's okay. But yeah, there's a shot in the episode where the dragon Grigori takes his tail and just swings it across the town and knocks a bunch of villagers flying, and you see them just land on the rooftops, and they're dead, obviously. But it's just so funny because he looks so derpy. It's just, bloop. Like, it just looks unnatural, and really it made me laugh. And there was a couple of just shots of like weird animation, but it's nothing like deal breaking for me. It might be for some of you. Again, at the beginning of the video, I said if I wasn't a fan of the games, I don't know if I would be able to get into this show. And honestly, the animation might be part of that, because I'm a big bitch when it comes to animation. It's still not as bad as Berserk, but it could have been better. I'm gonna give this episode honestly a 7 out of 10. If anything, like, it could have been worse. It could definitely be better. I'm expecting the next episode to really just kick off stuff, because the first episode, like I said, it's 5 minutes dragged out for 20 to 30 minutes long. Like, it's the first 5 minutes of the game turned into 30 minutes of an episode. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have your own opinions about the first episode, please let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, see you guys next video. Bye.